I'm sorry to appear to you guys like this, being a little less formal without my lighting. You know, I usually reserve it for instances where either it would be impractical, like doing it during the day, or when I don't feel well. I mention this just because we're trying some more radical treatments for my allergies and other situations that are going on here. And My body's not exactly reacting favorably to the situation at hand. I digress. Again, I don't mean to make these dev diaries into a slight life update diary, but sometimes I think I need to make people aware of what my situation is, since there are quite a few people who are looking forward to the completion and release of a lot of these models here. Sadly, for all the people who've asked for the Landau, in at least San Andreas, nobody's taken me up on the offer to PM me about the Landau, and because actually it's one of the few mods I'm probably going to upconvert, because I actually found the old um, I found the old Vice City beta. I've also identified the problems I had with the wheels on the beta, and actually I may be able to use the beta wheels for now, for the beta version, and not have it be so cringeworthy in terms of the size of the tires, as well as to rework the rims, because the rims actually could be uh, more more useful than I had originally thought. At least in terms of the back wheels, I could technically use the skinned wheels now, because if I extrude the hubcap, the base hubcap that I'd made, it actually does look a lot like the reference photo I have of the hubcap that was used on the actual car prior to its crash. But I don't know if Vice City actually supports two different hubcap styles, because I'd also be trying to alter the front hubcaps as well. But then again, I do have two different size tires on the vehicle to make it look like the back has the dualies that the actual version had. So I'm going to be playing around with that. Tomorrow, depending on how I feel, I'm actually going to go through the San Andreas to Vice City deconversion of the mods we had, including the Mack truck, um, and trying to get Gozook's models to work as well. Gozook did our MFP Goose bike as well as Mudguts and the excuse me, and, the Mudguts and the Toe Cutter bikes, which I would like to see roaming around in Vice City. We have them for San Andreas, but if I remember correctly from so long ago, I think Gozook's bikes were locked. Now, I may have people who will help me, and yes, before you ask, I have Gozook's permission to do with these bikes almost whatever I want to, so long as I give him credit, and of course I'm going to give him credit. His bikes are freaking awesome. Got a little ginger ale going here. Um, sorry. Trying to stay on topic here, but my body is trying to say otherwise. Okay, Carface, also known as, I believe, Bigfoot 2003, who's an old dear friend of the mod. Uh, I've sent him the red Monaro, which is the car that has the old Buick front end on it that's, kind of circle and goes down, and has the, Buick headlights mounted onto the front of what is essentially the body of a red Monaro. Now, it's a Monaro HQ, which is interesting because the red Monaro HQ is the same body kit as the Monaro HQ from Mad Max. So there's almost a direct connection on some levels, especially when you take into account that the characters driving the red Monaro are called bad cops. They're some of my favorites of the villains in Road Warrior and Mad Max 2. used to have the figure around here somewhere, but I don't anymore at this point in time. So yeah, uh, so there, there may even be almost a direct connection. I mean, granted, the Knight Rider Monaro, as it's known, because it was stolen by and driven by Knight Rider, but it's an MFP Interceptor that was made out of a Monaro. The Monaro itself, was obviously destroyed when Max took on the Knight Rider. Excuse me. So basically, I'm trying to outsource pieces of this mod because that front end, by all accounts, should be a snap for my friend Carface. He actually did the body itself for the no front fender Statesman that has the Jeep front end on it with the exposed engine and the no side fenders, front fenders, thus the name, because we don't really have names for these cars, even though these cars are very much characters unto themselves. That's a lot of why I loved Road Warrior. It wasn't just that there was this Mack truck, which got me into loving Mack trucks and semi-trucks in general. It's that each of these cars were, in a sense, a character unto itself. I always will remember all the little minute details of these vehicles because I've studied them, I've looked them over. I have some, what do you call it, workshop from the people who actually created the vehicles. I have some actual workshop photos. I mean, I love these vehicles. I've always loved these vehicles as much as I would say I love the DeLorean from Back to the Future or the A-Team van from the TV show and so on and so forth. I forgot that Max's MFP Interceptor is, his yellow Interceptor, not the black on black hero car, was a four-door XB sedan. I know that this should be blindingly obvious, but you tend to forget these details. So if I can take off the little hood thing like we've done with some of our other beta models there, I could then have somebody else reskin the car and we would have ourselves a four-door sedan, a four-door XB sedan that could be used. Although I'm also looking into trying to create my own because we've used Gangisa's model quite a lot, and that's not something that's really, to be honest with you, something that's sat entirely well with me. I've actually wanted to do more that was handmade than actually working off of others' models, again, with permission, of course. Although the Landau is Gangisa's body reshaped, it's still all this stuff was done with his permission, and actually I'm going to be going back to the Landau itself, both the stock version and the new the Mad Max version, and redoing the back end because it is still essentially Gangisa's XB back end, and I thought my skinners could handle skinning that, but not quite. And I don't blame them. I'm not trying to crap on my skinners at all. I really should have thought this through a little bit more with the Landau, and I am now. I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, well, gee, we could do so much better than this, and we're going to. So, again, I'm going to be building a lot of custom parts for the stock Landau. I mean, I've got to create a whole side of the front fender, and then I got to create the under bumper front end as well as the stock bumpers and all that stuff. So there's still a lot to get done here, there, and everywhere, but I was thinking that one easy thing that could probably be reasonably done is a stock XB four-door sedan, because that would then go along with trying to fill Grand Theft Auto with Australian muscle cars and muscle sedans and things of that nature. And then later on, I'm going to be recreating a lot of Gangisa's work for future work into Utes and wagons. And yes, for those not in the know, there is a difference. The Ute is more something of akin to our El Caminos, and the wagons are station wagons. Excuse me. As for one of my skinners has talked to me again. He's trying to get his tools together, but he's still very much on the project, so yay, thank you. But I'm still going to be trying to alleviate uh, issues with the slowdown of releases by trying to get people, because I have like a digital warehouse full of these movie model meshes that just need a skin and then need to be thrown in game. And our tech guy kind of spoke to me, but he hasn't done anything that I've necessarily tasked him with. Not that I'm saying that I think he's slacking, not in the slightest bit. Just I don't have enough information on things. He wasn't sure why I was asking for an update on what he was doing, which seems odd since I'm the project leader, but I digress. I've got 2 forums I'm going to be signing up for that my friend who sent me to one good forum, so actually no, it's probably 3 I'm going to be trying to recruit on, because I want to try to get this done in as best a fashion as possible. I want to try to get as many people on this as possible, because I have a feeling with Fury Road, there'll probably be a re-release of high-definition versions of the Road Warrior Mad Max, trilogy, and people are going to be wanting these cars again. And I do have every intention of porting a lot of these mods over to Grand Theft Auto 4, and my old Skinner, who can't work with us, unfortunately, he has Grand Theft Auto 4, and so he's going to be our go-to guy for testing in Grand Theft Auto 4. So there'll actually probably be 3 generations worth of games that'll have releases with Road Warrior meshes, Mad Max meshes in them. So even though I had so much I wanted to cover tonight, obviously I'm just not feeling in the best of states, and my mind is getting very foggy from not feeling well. But I really wanted to bring people up to speed, and I'm continually finding new Australian cars that I can make from some of the existing meshes we have, or that I could fairly easily rebuild given the wealth of refs that I have there, that I'm going to then again, I want to Australia out the heck out of at least Grand Theft Auto. And I know some people are upset that the cars are not, are not their native sides, because in Australia and in Europe, usually the passenger side is the driver's side, as was shown in most of the Mad Max and Road Warrior films, because again, these are native Australian vehicles, these are native European vehicles. And I've tried to explain to people the problem is the animations. The character starts phasing through the door because everything's made for the American driver's side and not the European. I dare say Rockstar needs to do one of 2 things. Either a female protagonist, which could really shake things up, especially if she's done right, or going to Europe, places like that, giving us, especially in the PC modding community, a place where the cars have the animations built for the European side of the driver's side of the cars. Because it's not that I'm not begrudging people who are angry that our cars are technically inaccurate because the driver's side's on the wrong side. I am begrudging them when they aren't willing to listen that it's not something we are doing to be American-centric of your iconic movie vehicles. It's that in the case of Grand Theft Auto, we have no choice, or else it just ends up looking silly and stupid.